Broadcast is live.
Here we go.
Hello. Anyway, hello everybody. Welcome to Movie Mash. And today we have special guest star Justin Irwin. Is how I say it properly again. I'm terrible.
It's on wine, but it's okay.
Irwin. It's my English accent. And we have Cinema Chop Shop star Davey from the 80s. Check it out. Hello. All right, can you two do British accents? Can you do your best British accent? Come on, Justin.
Hey.
Cheerio and all
Tea,
that.
sir. Tea.
Cheerio and all that.
Teaser.
Cheerio and all good stuff, mate.
All I got is you got a real pretty mouth.
What is that?
That's
Wow. We bring up tea and Cheerios and stuff like that. You got a really pretty
Yeah,
mouth.
you see over here we speak about tea. You don't talk about pretty mouths. You know what I'm saying? What was it? Also, I got get the fuck out of here, joikes. You know, stuff like that. Not gangster film.
Joikes?
Joikes. Yes, joikes. But anyway, today we're going to talk about Godzilla versus Kong. We spoke about it before. But that was before the movie, and today we're going to talk about the movie Aftermath. And again, we're going to talk to these two and see what they got to say. I do have some questions.
By the way, disclaimer: this will include spoilers, so don't be surprised if we start talking about the movie. Obviously, so if you guys have the idea of Aftermath it's going to talk about spoilers. We're talking about the movie, so if you haven't seen the movie, you don't want to be spoiled. I guess you could get out of here, but I mean, you're kind of late to the party.
Yeah, you're late to the party.
Rushel. Can you see a guy called Rushel Patel? Rushel, I can't. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. Rushel. Anyway, so I was going to say to you guys, first of all, the movie has now grossed 400 million in the last week, and that's including movie cinemas or theaters, as you say, not open. So that's pretty good. I heard the budget was 160 million, which seems kind of low. I thought it would be a lot more than that. I thought it would be a lot more than that. But all right. So obviously it's done really well. It was a lot bigger than I thought it'd ever be. I mean, I just didn't think it'd be as big as it was. I love the film, but I'm not a big massive fan as much as you two are. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm just your average Joe with it. So,
I'm a super fan here. I don't know, Justin. Did you used to watch all the old school movies or no?
Yes, Godzilla 2000, 19 was it 1950s or 1960s Godzilla movies? Yeah, man. So I watched King Kong 1970 or something like that. So
you talking about the 76 one?
I think
Jessica Lange.
Yeah. What was that guy with the long hair? What was his name?
Jeff Bridges. Is it Jeff Bridges?
Yes.
Yep, I actually like that one.
Yeah, I like that one too.
That movie was referenced in Godzilla versus Kong. Just throwing that out there. There was there was scenes in Godzilla versus Kong that referenced it. So the scene where Kong is bathing in the front at the beginning, that's kind of like in reference to Godzilla 76, where he's going under the waterfall with Jessica Lange.
Yeah.
I wonder is that worth another watch?
And also, probably Shout Factory is releasing it with a new cut, with a new scan, and all these cool little bonus features. So I ordered that because that's the first time it's ever being released on Blu-ray.
Well,
plug.
I was going to say. So, what did you think of it, Justin? The new one, and tell us all about what your thoughts on the new.
First and foremost, I'm gonna go ahead and put this out here. The movie was good, but me and shout out to my boy Darrell. I don't know if you're watching or not. Me and him, we had a conversation the other day. I felt like, going back to Kong's Skull Island. You know how like when the helicopters they came over there and they got rest of the civilians off the island, the remaining survivors. Okay, then you see like a shot where Kong is beating his chest and he's roaring like, if y'all trying to bring more war in my home, like bring it. Okay, my thing is this. Okay, Godzilla versus Kong. Okay, start the scene. Okay, Kong is in a containment. He's in a monitoring system. My thing is, how did they get him? Going willing. Like, how did they get him into that containment cell? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
That's good, yeah.
They kind of sort of explain it, but
there was no flashbacks though.
Yeah, I know. This is where Legendary is being a douche. Legendary has 2 graphic novels that are going along with the film. It's called Kingdom Kong, and the other graphic novel is called Godzilla Dominion, I think. Okay. And these graphic novels are going along with the film, and they are basically there to basically, I guess, glue in the pieces that might be missing. So in that book, they explain what happens on Skull Island. Apparently, I guess, remember when they talk about a storm and how the storm, they were talking about a storm. They were like, oh, the storm basically wiped out everything on Skull Island. Apparently, apparently that storm was created by another kaiju, and that Kong fought on Skull Island. I guess the aftermath of that battle, or whatever, decimated the island. I haven't read the novel. I only read summaries of it, or I skimmed it. But there are graphic novels that go along with the film that explain the little pieces that are missing. So yeah,
right. Because it was about 30, 40 years in the difference. That was in the 70s as well. The first one, the Kong, wasn't it? Skull Island. That was the 70s. So there's a big 40-year gap between it all. Really. Mm-hmm. This is the questions I was going to ask you guys. There's a few things all right. So first of all, how come Kong couldn't break out of the chains?
Well, you said what? I'm sorry, a car drove by.
I thought that was one of you lot farting or something. But what do you call it? The chains on the ship. How is it that he couldn't break the chains? I mean, I thought he would have been able to do that. I suppose they had to show a way of restraining him on the boat, I suppose, really. But I was like, this guy can smash through buildings.
I think it was because he was drugged,
sedated.
Yeah, I think
he was sedated.
And that kind of goes against then when he was fighting Godzilla at that point. Maybe that's why he lost at that point. I don't know. There was something else I was going to say was, Hollow Earth.
Yeah.
Hollow Earth. Is that something that's in the old ones to do with or is that just a made up new thing for the film?
That's new. That's completely new. Yeah. It's completely new. I guess if you want to call it something, it can be because in the old films there was something called Monster Island where all the monsters lived and shit. And so I guess you can say that that's like a homage to Monster Island. I guess that's what we can say. Mm-hmm. But other than that, I'm not really 100% sure.
Well,
it's not in the old. For sure, Hollow Earth isn't in the old films, but it's an homage to Monster Island. That's what
right. Well, then that makes my next question kind of no point. But what I was going to say was, do you remember when they were going to Hollow Earth? Which, by the way, I thought was really good. I really liked it. I thought it looked good. The gravity thing up and down. And all the new monsters. I thought it was like a new way of creating a new world. It was, and they can use that for a lot of reasons now in the next movies, whatever, where this comes from there and all that. But this is what I was going to ask, which doesn't matter now because you guys don't know much. But the thing is that, do you know when they were going there, and it was quite horrendous for them to in that kind of capsule machine spaceship type thing there. And remember he was saying we're going to travel 2,000 miles per minute or second or something like that, yeah? And they're all kind of upside down and screaming and all that. And they got there. But you remember when Godzilla burnt a hole through the ground with his... Mm-hmm. Well, when they came back, wouldn't they have to have suffered the same thing?
Yeah, but they were in a vehicle, so the vehicle, I guess, subsides the feeling, I guess. Because they did it the first time, and I guess doing it the first time was really a jump. But I think the second time they did it, they probably kind of got over, because they got over it pretty quick. Once they entered Hollow Earth and I guess the gravity shifted, I think they kind of, to me, they adjusted to it pretty well.
Mr. Patel saying is it a different planet? No, it's in the center.
It's the center of the
Earth.
It's in the center of the Earth. This Earth, our Earth. But yeah, no, I was just little things. I was just curious. I was like, it just came straight out, and there was no big deal out of it compared to the big deal of going in, which I enjoyed. I loved the whole part of that, from going in, the whole scene in there and coming out. I actually loved most of the movie. A lot of people are saying, I've been reading and hearing, a lot of people are saying about, oh, the story is weak. I'm like, no, the story is the way it's a monster movie. What are you expecting?
If this one had a better story than King of the Monsters in 24 and Godzilla 2014. Well, Godzilla 2014 was like pretty straightforward.
But it's a monster movie. I thought the story was good enough.
Yeah.
It was everything I expected it to be, and that's what I was hoping for, and I wasn't like that.
People are expecting this elaborate story as if Godzilla movies have always had these complex storylines. Let me tell you, as a Godzilla super fan, 98% of Godzilla movies have the most dumbest plots ever. Like, I swear to you, they're the stupidest.
I can see that. I can see that.
Bro, like, they're dumb. Like, let me think. Freaking Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla, some random spacemen that when you shoot them, they turn into monkeys, come down to Earth and randomly build a robot to defeat Godzilla for no reason at all. It's stupid. It's dumb. I mean, but like, then you have movies like Godzilla versus Biollante, which have more of a realistic atmosphere. So in Godzilla versus Biollante, what ends up happening is that there's a scientist, and when Godzilla rampages through the city, he ends up killing the guy's daughter. So the guy ends up, like, I guess, taking the DNA of his daughter, and he tries to blend it with Godzilla's DNA in order to bring her back alive, because he sees, like, Godzilla has mutant cells or whatever. So he's thinking, like, okay, maybe this could bring her back alive. So he ends up mixing Godzilla's cells, his daughter's cells, and I think a plant. And what it ends up doing is creating this kaiju called Biollante. And basically that becomes the main protagonist for the Godzilla movie. So yeah, but I mean, like, to me, that was a better idea than some of the other stories that I've seen. Like, there's some really dumb stories out there in Godzilla, man. Just saying that.
Do you remember the one you got me to watch, the 70s version?
Which one? Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla? Or Godzilla versus Kong?
I actually think I watched two. The one with the funky.
You watched both of them.
The one with the funky soundtrack.
Yeah, Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla. That's the one with the monkeys. That's the one with the monkeys.
Do you?
When they would shoot them, and they were like, ooh, 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 and it just like started turning into monkeys.
Yeah, that's and I think the aliens were on that.
Yeah, those are the aliens. They're freaking planet apes.
Do you remember, like, the girl? She started singing a song to get that other guy out. Do you remember that? Listen to the whole song. Do you know? And I'm like, what's going? And then this dodgy guy came out with some, and I'm like, actually, Godzilla kind of didn't need him, but all right. But yeah, as I say, like, I don't know, I still enjoyed it.
You watched the English version, right?
No, I think it was subtitled.
Oh, dude! Oh my god, the English version. That old guy at the beginning, like, every time when I was a kid, I thought it was the funniest thing ever, because he'd be like, "Oh, Godzilla!"
But
what? It just
like.
If you watch it and you hear that, I promise you I sounded just like him.
All I know is that girl came out and she started singing that song for that other monster to come out.
King Caesar.
And she sang for about 10 minutes, and we actually watched the whole song. If you had to choose a winner between Kong versus Godzilla, I always thought Godzilla would win, Mr. Patel. And well, after watching the film, part of me wanted
that poster
to be all right, because we followed Kong through the whole film. But yeah, I'm kind of more of a Godzilla fan. Yeah, so I wanted Godzilla to win. But I did like the fact that Kong held his own, and Kong, they showed him kind of saving Godzilla. So
wait, Kong held his own in that movie? When was this?
Sorry?
When was Kong holding his own in this movie?
Go ahead. I got a lot to say.
I watched the massacre. I don't know what you saw.
I mean, he came at him and he hit him hard. He knocked him down. He gave him a good.
I got a lot to say. I got a lot to say.
He put him down, and I'm like, no, you done well. And then at the end, with what's his name, Mechagodzilla. By the way, what did you think of the design of Mechagodzilla?
Trash.
That is one of the worst Mechagodzilla designs I've ever seen in the history of.
Bro, he looked like a monster off a video game or something like that, man.
Yeah, look.
That was trash.
Okay, this is bittersweet. Mechagodzilla's design was trash, but as a character, he was badass.
All right,
that's what I'm gonna say because he fucked Godzilla and King Kong. He was holding them both with one hand.
Yeah. Can he do that on the old ones? Is he that tough on the old ones?
The fact that he did a rocket booster and kneed Godzilla in the face. Oh my god,
that was pretty good actually. Right? He can fly though. He actually can fly in the old ones, can't he?
Yeah, he can fly. He can fly in, I think, all versions.
But yeah, no, that bit when he boosted up and kicked him. But is he normally that tough in the old ones? Like really that tough? Because he really kicked the shit out of Kong at one point. No, Godzilla.
Yeah, like I said, this is probably one of my least favorite Mechagodzilla designs. And when it's funny because when you look at the old Mechagodzilla designs, they're not much to look at. Yeah. So this design definitely is one of the weaker ones. But as far as his feats, he was pretty badass. But I mean, knowing my Godzilla history, Mechagodzilla has always put a really bad beating on Godzilla. First Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla movie, the one that you saw, he shot him in the chest, had Godzilla's chest bleeding.
I remember, yeah.
Yeah, then the other one, he had the design where he had two cannons on his shoulder and he had like a belly beam or something. And then the third one was Kiryu, which is an homage in this film. For those of you that don't know who Kiryu is the third Mechagodzilla. And in this movie, what happens is they kind of, I guess, hint or kind of it's an homage. This Mechagodzilla is homage to Kiryu because Kiryu was built on the bones of the first Godzilla, the old Godzilla movie, the one from the black and white ones from the 50s. That one that was killed with the oxygen destroyer. Basically, they used his bones to create a Mechagodzilla. And what happens is while Mechagodzilla is I guess, roaming around, he ends up having a freaking PTSD flashback, like he was in Vietnam or something. And he remembers his past. So the bones somehow possess Mechagodzilla and he just starts destroying everything. Just kind of like this one where the skeleton remains of Ghidorah freaking possessed this Mechagodzilla and caused him to be like, oh, well, I'm going to just cause havoc and destruction. I'm going to fight this fool Godzilla.
What did you think of the story and the creation of Mechagodzilla? Is it a new made-up type thing? Or, with this, what's his name, executive businessman wanting to save the world?
Apex.
Yo,
all right, Chris. But Mr. CLJ.
What was stupid, though? The guy that created Mechagodzilla, Serizawa's son, I'm assuming that's his son.
Yeah.
So basically the guy in King of the Monsters that kills himself, that sacrifices himself with the nuclear bomb.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's his son. But the one dumb thing about this movie is they never explained his problem with Godzilla. You had a father that was obsessed with Godzilla, loved Godzilla, and all this crazy stuff. And all of a sudden,
he probably thought that Godzilla killed his dad or something like that. That's probably what he thought.
But I mean, right now, but we're all speculating. I feel like that's been explained in the movie. He just has a grudge with Godzilla for no apparent reason. Like it made no sense. Okay, yeah, you want to make an Alpha Titan tight, but at the end of the day, it's like, what's your beef with Godzilla? Like, you need to explain to me like why you don't like this guy. You can't just not like him because you just don't like him.
Yeah,
I think a little clarification would have been, because look, the guy with the money, he's the money behind the operation. That's all you need to know. But Serizawa's son, I need to know why he wanted to fight Godzilla. Why was he creating this Mechagodzilla, and why he was so adamant on being the one to take him down? I just needed to know, and they never explained it.
Right. Well, I mean, he was just the run-of-the-mill type villain anyway, world domination type, kind of Lex Luthor type thing, For For me, that's what I've seen him as. But I mean, you guys, as I say, you guys know a lot more about me. But what did you think of CGI on it?
Justin,
CGI, it was. I will say this: the CGI on Mechagodzilla was just trash. That's what I think.
I don't think the CGI on him was trash. I think it was just the design.
It's the design.
I think because the CGI. Look,
I think I could be nitpicking, but you know me, Davey. You know, like I said, I'm critical when I see. But the CGI. I'm gonna ask y'all this: what do y'all think about the CGI for Hollow Earth? What did y'all think about that?
Really good. I mean, you knew it was CGI, but I thought it was really good. I just enjoyed the whole thing, but I thought it was really good. You could see, yeah, it was CGI, but it didn't bother me.
The CGI in this film was miles ahead of any of the other Godzilla movies, hands down, like easily. We saw monsters in the daytime, and that extra time that they had where they pushed this movie, you can tell that they took all of that time and they touched up all the blemishes. Okay, we could tighten this up a little bit. You know, you can tell that they kept touching up and touching up and touching it up. They weren't just sitting there with a film on the shelf and just like, oh well, whenever whenever we pick a date to release it, we'll just release it. No, they were like, okay, while we're waiting to release this, we're going to touch this up, and it really showed. I don't think Mechagodzilla CGI was trash. I think that his design is just bad to the point where you're just like, you just don't like the character. Because I felt that way too when I first seen his design. I was like, oh my god, that looks horrible. And I was almost going to call it like trash CGI, but then when I was watching it, I was like, the CGI is not bad. I'm just not a fan of his design. But what's his name? Patel. He said, did we watch Godzilla 1998, the American version? What did you think of it? Because I thought it was basura, aka trash. He didn't say basura when I said that, but you know. So what did you guys think? Anybody?
All right.
98 Godzilla.
What do you reckon, Mr. Justin?
1998 Godzilla. I like that Godzilla. Becca, what? Well, he's fast, he's quick, and you remember in 1998 Godzilla when what's his name? Matthew Broderick. Yeah. They was trying to escape, and this mofo jumped on that bridge, that Brooklyn Bridge, and he hopped over that thing. I was like, dang, I said, now we got guys like that. I said, hey, I mean, tight.
I thought I liked it. Yeah. I mean, again, like it's like I'm a big Superman DC fan, and if you mess around with certain characters, I can't do it. But I'm not into Godzilla. I am, but not like you guys. So for me, I wasn't sure. It looked all right to me. I enjoyed the movie, especially Puff Daddy. Yeah.
Soundtrack.
Yeah. But what was the Led
Zeppelin sample?
P Diddy. But yeah, I enjoyed it. He was a lot more. Faster,
agile.
People are moaning about the eggs in the stadium. I actually remember enjoying that part of it. It was a bit of a rip off of Jurassic Park.
Dude, the whole movie is low key a rip off of Jurassic Park. But
yeah, I enjoyed it.
I'll be honest with you. All right, so look, I don't have a problem with it. I remember in the 90s, I loved that movie and it was tight, but I don't understand. Like, my biggest thing is when people say, oh, don't call this something, don't call this because I don't agree with it. Because I didn't like it, it can't be associated with this title. I don't agree with that. 1998 Godzilla is an incarnation of Godzilla. Deal with it, get over it, right? But at the end of the day, like, it doesn't feel like a Godzilla movie. It's like, because one, he doesn't have his breath. Two, I mean, it really feels like I'm watching a Jurassic Park movie. I feel like I'm watching The Lost World when the T-Rex gets off the ship and he's just rampaging through the town, through the city. That's what it feels like. It doesn't really feel like a Godzilla movie. Like, you don't feel like huge threat to society. You're just kind of like, okay, this is just some freaking prehistoric monster just out on the loose, you know? It doesn't feel like a Godzilla movie, but as a movie by itself, it's not bad. It's actually pretty good. I mean,
it's more hate than it deserves, I think. And I do think it helped bring Godzilla to more mainstream.
People hate it because it's not the Godzilla that they know. That's it. once it's something that they don't know, they hate it.
They did change that up and said it was Zilla or something afterwards. You know, it wasn't quite Zilla. Yeah,
Japan
out. But again, like, I enjoyed it.
Anyway. To Final Wars. They changed his name and added him to Final Wars, and then they had Godzilla kill him just to show that he was dominant.
Mm-hmm. You're right about the cast and Matthew Christopher. Yeah, Matthew. It was all right. It's just again to bring the story along, wasn't it? And that's another thing I like about the new one. They didn't have like the last two. Oh my god, it was just not. I didn't care about the humans. I didn't care about them. It was like
humans were ruined, like especially like
monsters from Stranger Things, and I like the guy from.
Hold on a second. Who was that guy, Davey? Who was that guy? That boy that was with Millie Bobby Brown.
Oh my god, that fat kid from Deadpool,
bro. He's from Florida. In this movie, he's from Florida,
and he has a British accent or an Australian accent.
No, I think he was South African. Also, he's from Deadpool too.
Yeah, he's from Deadpool. Yeah. Garbage. Yeah, he's so annoying. That kid annoyed the hell out of me. You say he's from South Africa? Look, man, that man he sounded like he had a British accent. I was like, what? Why is this kid walking around freaking Tampa Bay talking about? Oh, we really gonna do that? Oh, we really gonna do that?
English, and that doesn't
just like him.
He didn't say Coco T. He said, "What was it? South African, mate." I
don't know, man. All I know is he was in there like he was like, "Oh, we really gonna go there? Oh, do we need to do that?"
It was just
touch that.
And the Stranger Things girl, I just don't care. But I suppose we needed that.
Oh, you mean Millie Bobby? Millie Bobby?
Yeah.
Okay, look, I'm honest with you. So check this out. That whole cast, Millie Bobby, the black guy from the Joker, and the fat kid from Deadpool 2, completely dumb. It was stupid, bad casting, right? But I know why they needed to be there. But
cool.
Because they needed to introduce you to Mechagodzilla, they needed to introduce you to Apex's plan. You needed a story to follow to get you there. Did they have to use them in order to get that? I've been thinking about this, and my honest answer is no. What you could have did was X them out of the whole factor, and then you could have had a story following Kurosawa's son, and basically give a backstory of why this fool has a freaking grudge against Godzilla, and then slowly but surely start showing the development plans for Mechagodzilla. That to me would have made more sense than we had these three over here, band of misfits, breaking into an Apex facility, jumping on a freaking bullet train, going to the facility, end up in a stadium. It was so stupid. Those three characters were so annoying. Like I said, I understand why they were there, but it was pretty dumb.
Well, I mean, again, as long as they weren't involved as much as they were in the last two, for some reason, I didn't mind the Kong Skull Island involvement with the humans. It didn't seem...
Oh, the human cast of Skull Island were cool. I like them.
Yeah, I don't know why. It just didn't feel like I didn't mind their story arc. Like Samuel Jackson, I just didn't mind all that. I mean, it didn't feel like it took over the movie either. Godzilla was in it. King Kong was in it quite a lot.
And you know what though? The cast that followed Kong also wasn't annoying. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah,
the cast.
Tom Hiddleston, Brie Larson,
he was alright.
Jason Mitchell. He was what?
Actually, he was alright. Tom Hiddleston. He was actually
he was. Yeah,
that was a decent cast to follow.
Yeah,
like, I enjoyed that part. And then honestly, the best human character in the story is the little girl.
Yeah, she does the sign language.
Yeah.
I like her.
What I was going to say was the little girl on the new. Is it a psychic ability or just a kind of understanding between them?
It's sign language. I think it's sign language. I think
she actually is like that.
Thing, like at one point, and I don't know if that was a reference to that movie, Project X. Is it Project X?
Isn't Project X a party movie?
Project X.
I think some of this is another Project X movie.
Are you talking about
Matthew Project in the 80s?
I haven't heard of that.
No. Recommend that. Yeah, Project X. It's horrible in a good way. It's about research on monkeys. and he
Oh
was
yeah, I see it. Yeah, there's Project X. Never heard of it though.
Yeah. But anyway, to say, but they were home in Apple or something like that, and it looked because King Kong did that at one point, didn't he? When he was talking to the girl.
He was doing. They were both doing sign language. I don't know.
Yeah, he did.
King Kong learned it from the girl, but didn't want her to know that he knew because he felt like they would take advantage of it. Which he was smart enough to notice that. So that's why. So they were able to communicate with each other, and then also, since she couldn't hear. I felt like she was super sensitive to like vibrations. So that's why she was able to hear his heartbeat. That's why she was able to, for some reason, feel when Godzilla was near. Like she was able to feel it before anybody else because I feel like she might have her vibration frequencies must be at a higher tune or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, Project X is about an experiment on apes with Mapfre Project in the 80s. That's the one I'm talking about. It's a really good movie, by the way. Heartbreaking, but no, she was probably the best part of the human element. I didn't mind Skarsgård. He wasn't in it much. No, they weren't in it much really. The girl from Millie, is it Millie from Stranger Things? Yeah.
I don't like her character. I never liked her. I didn't like her in the first. I didn't like her in King of the Monsters, and I just didn't like her in this one either.
Well, they seem to make a big deal out of the actress, like she, and saying Stranger Things. I mean, did you watch Stranger Things at all?
Yeah.
And too. You did?
I did.
What do you reckon? You like it?
Oh, dude, Stranger Things is dope. I love it. It's a good show.
What do you reckon, Justin? Do you watch it?
I have not seen Stranger Things. I have not seen not one episode, not one season.
It's actually good to watch. It's actually a fun watch.
Yeah,
bro. I started them yesterday. I can't wait to finish that. But anyway,
but as I say, like on Godzilla, first thing you see him jump out of the water at the beginning. Towards the beginning, he roars at the screen. I thought that looked great. He looked grisly. You could see all the little bits and pieces on his face. I was like, he actually looked quite frightening. Later on, when he was attacking King Kong, the CGI on him, that was for me was the best part of the CGI. He looked just all the little designs.
When they were screaming at each other too, when they were fighting in China, and they were like and they were like yelling at each other, and Godzilla had him pinned on the floor, grinding his foot into his chest.
I got a lot to say. Well, go ahead. I got a lot to say.
Wait, hold on. Go ahead. Let Justin go ahead, man. Because
all you Kong fans out there, hold this L. Hold this L. We have told you from the get-go, Godzilla was going to serve that monkey up, and he did. So all you Kong fans, hold this L, please, sincerely. Jody, I know you probably gonna watch this, but I'll send your channel, bro. But I'm telling you straight up. Hold this L, bruh. Kong got bodied in this movie. They made him weak. And I'm going to tell you one thing. And I'm going to tell you how I know he was going to get bodied, Davey. I'm going to tell you how I know he's going to get bodied. First off, you can tell by the trailer when they fighting on that ship. I said, bruh, Kong's going to get red. Because I said, you're basically fair game. Godzilla basically swims in water. So basically, you have no chance. Apes can't swim in water. They'll drown. And sure enough, I said, what if Godzilla takes this fool in water and tries to pull him down all the way to the bottom of the ocean? And sure enough, it happened in the movie. I said, see there, even my mom called it out. They said they set King Kong up in this movie. So therefore, all you Kong fans, I don't want to hear nothing. Hold this L, move on. There you go. Sincerely. Now, Davey, take the floor. That's it.
Well, the only reason I knew I wasn't sure at first. I thought it was going to be even because I didn't think previous to watching it, at one point I thought it was going to be even. But after speaking to you about Toho, you remember you were saying Toho will not let Godzilla lose. They will not let him lose. So I thought, all right.
It's Japanese character.
I know, but I thought either was going to be he was going to win or they draw. There's no way King Kong was going to win this. But I knew he would, at the end, he'd be some kind of a hero as well, which he was.
Because we want to keep
Godzilla.
But you got to think, though, who's more iconic? Who's more iconic?
Oh no, they both honestly they both have very huge. Look, this is what they both have a draw from their name alone.
Yeah.
Godzilla and Kong are both equally famous in Japan and America. That's the way it is. Because Toho at one point held the rights to use King Kong's character, and they made 2 films featuring Kong. And they were actually going to do a third one, but it never happened. But anyway, they held the rights to his character. So Japanese people are familiar with King Kong. American people are familiar with Godzilla. Almost every Godzilla movie that was put out was dubbed in English and then brought and reshot certain scenes and placed in American theaters. It's been that way since the first Godzilla movie came out in the 50s. So these 2 characters both hold the same kind of iconic value. But now, like I stated before, the obvious reason why Godzilla was going to win is because they want the MonsterVerse to continue. King Kong can lose, and they can still make a bunch of Kong movies because they own the rights to Kong. It's an American title. It's American character. They can figure it out, right? No American studio is going to be like, we're not going to give you the rights to him. You did my boy dirty. Nah, they don't care. As long as the money's right, the money's right. Now, Toho, on the other hand, will look at it like, hey, nah, you butchered our character in the 90s, and then now you did this. You had this American character beat him, and you had us looking back. Oh, come on, get out of here. Like Toho has guidelines in their contract to things that they can't do to the Godzilla character. I remember in King of the Monsters, the first batch of concept arts that they presented to Toho, they rejected them because they said, nah, this ain't what our character's supposed to look like. For I think Rodan and King Ghidorah, they rejected it. Also, the first draft of Godzilla versus Kong, they also rejected some scenes. They said, nah, you got to cut this out of the movie because Godzilla does not emote. He doesn't show emotion. You need to cut that out. But then American studios got slick, and then they had the whole thing where when Kong was running and Godzilla beamed his ass in the butt, and he kind of smirked.
Yeah, I've seen it.
They were able to sneak something in. The Japanese company Toho did not want Godzilla to show any emotion. Like, you know how Kong is very emotional. Like, they showed a scene where he's on the boat and he looks worried. They didn't want Godzilla to do things like that. They were like, they want Godzilla to look like a savage, a force of nature at all times. And he was in this movie. So
what I was going to say is, Chris is saying about he lost because of legal rights. But the thing is, the way I look at it is, forget about the legal issues. The way I look at it is, Godzilla had more tools to work with against Kong.
That's what I was
Thank you. It's common sense.
That's the next one I was
common sense.
I did like the way Kong used the buildings. To swing
when he
from.
threw that thing and the Godzilla looked that way and he jumped on his back, that was pretty clever.
Yeah, I just like the way he jumped up. But as I say, like you think about it, right? Godzilla is strong and he does this and he can fly and jump around. But you've got Godzilla's got like a tail, which right? It's full of spikes that are probably razor sharp beyond belief. He's got teeth. His whole skin looks like concrete. Yeah,
scales.
I mean, like real serious big thick stuff. We got also you got obviously the fire. What's it called? Is it called fire breath? Atomic breath.
Yeah, the atomic breath.
I mean, they had to give Kong the axe
in order to counter it,
to help. But he's got in general. I mean, he even punched Godzilla. Kong on the boat as well. After you see him he hit and knocked him down.
No, he slapped him, bro.
I know maybe, but maybe when
go ahead. I got something for that too.
Godzilla said, "What did the fire finger say to the face?"
For him. And I'm not saying because of legal rights. It's just if it was a real fight and it was in real life, I would have put my money on Godzilla anyway because he just seemed to have more tools going for him. Not that I dislike Kong; he was good. I did like the fact that Kong did fight hard and he knocked him down. I loved the bit when they were going through the buildings. It was just like smashing glass, and it looked really good. Right. Yeah, I was like, that's how it's supposed to be. It's like they got it right. Do you know? They got it right. I love the neon lights. It was lit well. I mean, the last 2 films, it was like either too close. The camera angles are too close, too far. It was dark. It was raining. It was just, these were like watching a full on, you could see it full on, and it was great. And I felt satisfied at the end. I was going to ask you, so what would you give it out of 10, Justin?
Oh, the movie?
Yeah.
I would give this movie 9 out of 10. The reason why is because I felt like they should have gone a little bit more in depth with Kong's story. Because, like I said, I did not like how the way we just jumped in and we just know, oh, Kong's in this containment, this monitoring cell. But the thing is, that's when, like, when you go back and watch Kong Skull Island, I'm trying to figure out, like, did they get him in while Godzilla King of the Monsters was going on or something like that? Because I was feeling like I was taking out like a little bit piece by piece. The woman said something about that she been over there on Skull Island for 10 years with that little girl, and said that Kong bows to nobody. So and basically they're talking about like how like the little girl done like sign language with Kong over there on Skull Island. So I'm trying to figure out like, so you mainly just like did not like, you could have like showed us a flashback of that going on, and then honestly I've been okay, because basically in the movie you just got Kong in this containment thing, and you don't know how he's there, like how they got him.
I know,
you know what I'm saying? It don't make no sense, because I was just like, me and my boy Darrell, we was talking about this the other day, like how did they get him in that containment thing, bro? Like it doesn't make no sense.
They got him on the boat.
I mean, I know that, but I'm just saying is like, and then they talking about like over there, like they said when he was over there on Skull Island, they said something about that.
They should at least mentioned it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, because all you just know it.
That's what I'm telling you, dude. This is the only bad thing. Well, this is the Legendary expands their universes via graphic novels. I'm sad to say it, but it's true. They talk about how what happens on Skull Island during the Godzilla King of the Monsters arc. They said Ghidorah gave the alpha call. King Kong heard it and ignored it and was like, "I'm not going to this food. Like whatever. Like as long as that food don't come to my island, we good." That was Kong's mentality. Kong's mentality was like, they ain't got shit to do with me unless he come to my island. Then we got a problem. So Kong just ignored it. But though that's things that isn't touched on in the King of the Monsters movie. It is expanded on in the graphic novel. And like I said, I'm assuming that the human beings that are researching Kong and saw when I guess he fought whatever monster that destroyed Skull Island. I'm assuming it's going to be expanded on in the graphic novel called Kingdom Kong. So
will we see them fight again?
Oh, if the money's right, maybe. Look, man, I'm gonna be honest with you. So
honestly,
go ahead.
They probably honestly, I think they might fight, but honestly, I think next sequel they could probably do a team up and probably go against Destroyer. Probably,
yeah,
maybe.
I think it's a team up.
It's gotta be a team up.
Yeah, you can't. They're friends now. They're nearly high-fived at the end, sort of thing.
Now, I don't know about friends. I don't know about friends.
They show respect.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll fight again. Maybe if they make.
I think the only way Kong will come to Earth is if they need him to do it. So, like, if the little girl's like, "Pretty, pretty, please," then he might go. But I don't think other than like outside of that, as long as Kong is like really like, all right, this is my territory and this is all I'm worried about. So I don't think that he'll be worried about it unless like they ask him to go do it. Like, because Kong could have easily just picked up his axe and was like, "Oh, Mecha Godzilla, that's your problem now," and then just jump back into that hole and just went the whole Hollow Earth and just left Godzilla there to die. But the little girl was like, help him. He's not the enemy. Then Kong was like, "All right, fine, whatever." Smacked his arm against the freaking the building, popped his shoulder back into place, and then went to war, which was pretty tight, by the way. So, this is what I think. The MonsterVerse is probably going to continue. This movie doing good and basically, I don't care what nobody says. Godzilla vs. Kong revived theaters. It is the highest grossing film it's the highest box market in the pandemic. Yep. This movie is the reason.
400 million in about a week, and that's including cinemas being closed over here. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, so it's 300. It's like 300 million plus, I think, and it's like it's going to keep growing. So This is what I think, and I have a video about this thing if anybody's interested on it. I think that the MonsterVerse should keep expanding because it's very lucrative. Now, where they messed up at is in Godzilla King of the Monsters. You introduced these other characters like Rodan and Mothra, but you didn't introduce them enough to make people care about them. So now you missed out on a market of making solo films with these characters because
you mean they wasted the characters and now it's too late, sort of thing.
Yeah, so you just kind of like treated them as cameo characters so that Godzilla fans would be like, oh, tight. Like you brought them in the characters. You brought them in tight. That's dope and all, but at the same time, it's like you missed out on the opportunity to make these characters likable, and now your ability to market them separately is 0 to none. So the next character that they choose to do that with, they need to try to make sure that character gets enough light. I don't know if that means add less characters in it to make sure that they get a little like what they did with Kong. This was basically Kong's movie featuring Godzilla, and it was still a good damn movie. It was fun to watch. So, because I think that they should give the fans what they want. A lot of people want to see Godzilla versus Gamera. It's never going to happen logically because the studios that both created these monsters hate each other. They're rival studios. They hate each other, and both of these studios are not going to allow one character to lose to the other. However, if you find a way to make these two characters maybe like end up in a draw and then teaming up against something else, then it's possible. But also the studio that made Gamera, they need to understand this. You are losing an opportunity to make your character a domestic character into a global character. A lot of people outside of Japan know who Gamera is, but they're pretty much in their 40s, 50s, maybe even 60s and shit. Gamera's not known by a younger audience internationally. That ship is sailed. You know, Godzilla had the privilege of being released in 98 and then re-released again in 2014. So he's familiar with the younger audience, with the pop culture audience. Gamera's not pop culture right now because not that many of the new age people know who the fuck he is. So if these two if the studio sits at the table, I think that this could be a very lucrative opportunity for them. And then also Gamera, to me, actually puts up a better matchup against Godzilla based off of his abilities. He's more durable. He can shoot fire. He can actually absorb fire. This motherfucking turtle could fly. And then also he has like a beam from his stomach and some freaking fire claw or something. He has an abundance of skill sets that can be really, really interesting to see how Godzilla will try to counter it. It'll be a dope little matchup, and I think he would honestly fare better than King Kong.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm sure they've got plans set up anyway. I don't know, like what I reckon Hollow Earth is going to be used a lot in the next. They've got a good thing now to use that a lot with whoever's coming to the surface and all that, and you know, other secrets down there. Yeah, I know what you're saying about the other characters, the other monsters in the last one. They're wasted. Now I'm going off the subject a little bit, but with Batman versus Superman, Doomsday came along, and it wasn't. There's a Doomsday saga where he kills Superman in the car. Oh, it's amazing, and I knew as soon as we saw him, I knew we're never going to get that now. It's a waste of maybe a trilogy or at least 2 films, or anyway, at least 1 film. I knew that, so I understand when the characters that you know really well are just shoehorned in as a fight, a bit of a cameo, and that's the last you see of them. Like a lot of people probably wouldn't have known is, do you know the skeleton, or was it Gamora? What's his name? In the Kong, the skeleton, they were using the skull.
Oh, skull crawlers.
No. You know, they were using
Ghidorah.
Yeah,
a lot of people probably wouldn't have realized, but that was Ghidorah from the versus the monsters.
Yeah, because he was in that post-credit scene. Yeah, Yeah,
but I'm just saying, it's like because it was so quickly done, there weren't a big deal made out of those monsters in the last one. So it's like, oh, who's this? Do you know? But it doesn't matter. I mean, people like yourself know, so that's the main thing. The fan service. I would give the film an 8 out of 10. I find it very, very rewatchable. Yeah, there's a few little plot holes here and there, but I just see it as that it was supposed to be this way. the story wasn't have to be a big deal. It just needed to just get to the fights. Story was all right. 8 out of 10. I find it very rewatchable. I've watched it twice since it came out. About you
I watched
guys?
About 4 times already.
Oh, really?
4 times.
Yeah, about yourself and stuff from the 80s.
I give it an 8 out of 10 as well. I mean, as a when you look at it for what it is, it's a sci-fi action movie, monster movie, and things like that. So you know what you're getting. You're not expecting some elaborate story and things like that. So it's easily an 8 out of 10. A lot of the mistakes and the things that they were criticized for, you can tell that they listened to people and they changed it. They didn't pan away as much during the fights. The human interaction was like at an all-time minimum. They actually really seemed like they listened to critiques. Because King of the Monsters, let's face it, bro, it bombed. And they weren't expecting that. And I think the biggest reason is because, one, you didn't capitalize off of the market because you waited years to put out the next film. And after King of the Monsters, they did the smart thing and they said, okay, we're already working on Godzilla versus Kong. So we're going to keep it fresh. So they capitalized on the market as soon as possible. Versus how it was with King of the Monsters. They waited like a few years and then brought the new movie out. And it already lost its hype. So kudos to them for doing it. So if they're planning on expanding the MonsterVerse, they need to hurry up and pencil out a contract and start the process as soon as possible.
Oh, I'd say with the success of it now, I reckon the producers and executives are going, all right, here we go. They
have to get the contract in. If they don't get, they have to get the contract in case they want to A, get more characters, or B, keep the character of Godzilla and just add their own original monsters. So they need to get the contract down in place first.
Well, I mean, was it Mike didn't even have a cameo of the main bad guy from King versus Monsters?
Alan. Yeah, he was a waste, bro. You want to know why? Because his character in King of the Monsters was more likable than Millie Bobby and her mom. So I wanted to see more of him. But just because he wasn't in this movie does not mean that he cannot be in other movies. So in my video that I'm plugging right now about ways that they can expand the MonsterVerse, I said that his character can be utilized in order to bring in Biollante because he's a kaiju DNA. He markets kaiju DNA. Biollante is a being created from kaiju DNA, like splicing them together. So his character could be shoehorned in that movie. That's what I think.
Okay. Well, this is all stuff that I don't know about. I mean, part of me wants to go back and watch Godzilla from the start, like all of them, and King Kong actually. Even the 1938?
1930s. I just know. I want to say 94. I don't know.
I just got 38 in my head, but I actually fancy. I mean, I know some of them, as you say, are silly.
Nah, bro, I would have to help you pick which ones.
But they're fun. They're fun though. Do you know that I enjoyed the one I watched, even subtitled. 33 is it, Mike? Well done. As I say, and King Kong. I like Peter Jackson's version too. You know,
that was a really good movie. That was really good.
You didn't like his version?
Character.
Oh, I know. I did like it. That's what
you did. Oh, you did. I thought you did.
Peter Jackson really cared about that movie. Like he really took
apparently that was his lifelong dream. Making Lord of the Rings. All he was thinking was, if Lord of the Rings is a big success, King Kong I've got to do it, and he did a good job. 3 hours long. Little trivia. I don't know if I've said this before. Do you know at the same time Superman Returns is being made around the corner in Australia? And do you remember the fight scene between King Kong and the dinosaurs, the T-Rexes?
T-Rexes, yep. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
He had to call in Bryan Singer to film that because he was so exhausted. And apparently for the whole fight, how many days it took, Peter Jackson slept in the chair, on the director's chair, just beside him, snoring through the whole time. I was like,
oh, really?
Yeah, he was like, he wanted to be there, but he was asleep for the whole time. He had to get him in. So that's how tired he was. But he put a lot of effort into that. Yeah, CGI was good for its day.
Yeah,
that was good.
Absolutely.
But I mean, it's worth watching again. If anyone hasn't seen it, watch it again. All of them are good. Again, the 76 one, I haven't seen it in years, but I remember when I was young, really enjoying it. I remember the scene when he had Jessica Lange and he was putting her in the water, the fountain and stuff like that, and the dodgy hand coming in through. I mean, it would look like a big dodgy hand coming in through the thing and taking it. I mean, how she didn't hear it, but all right, and then taking her out, you know. But yeah, it was good. Yeah, it was great. They're all good, but the Godzilla, yeah.
Godzilla's hit or miss, bro. I think I have a top 10 Godzilla movie list. You could just run off of that.
Oh, all right, I will. You know, he was going to make it before Lord of the Rings, given a smaller budget. Look at Mike trying to shoehorn in on top of my trivia. Look, get lost, Michael. Yeah, I know. Yeah, but as I say, like, yeah, but anyway, I mean, have you any final thoughts on the whole thing, Justin?
Final thoughts about this movie. I expect going forward, keep that same energy going. The movie, because like I said, Godzilla versus Kong, it was a good movie. They got right into the fight scene. The fight sequences in the movie with Godzilla and Kong, and then including Mecha Godzilla, was tight. But however, like I said, my only gripe about this film is they should have gave a little bit more backstory about Kong on Skull Island and how they, was interacting, like with that little girl interacting with Kong. If they did that, honestly, this movie would have been a 10 out of 10 for me. But
I'm gonna send you the Amazon link so you can stop asking about it. I'm gonna send you the Amazon link for that graphic novel so you can stop asking about that. I was like, because I think it's like $15, bro.
He's really pissed about that.
I know he is. He keeps bringing it up. Like, I'm gonna send you the link for that graphic novel.
I feel you, Davey. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying.
Hey, look, I think that I love the movie. It was awesome. I hope that they continue the MonsterVerse. But they need to strike when the iron's hot. Please don't strike a deal in the next 3 years. Strike a deal as soon as possible. Endgame needs to be Destroyer because he is one of Godzilla's hugest threats. And yeah, bring in Biollante. That's the homie. But yeah, that's all I gotta say.
I agree with Justin. Keep the energy. It was good energy movie. Keep that energy going. Hopefully, it was everything I hoped it would be, and that's the best I can hope for. What I was going to say is, so hopefully the next, and I reckon they're going to be bang. I reckon they're already on it now. Working it out. But yeah, hopefully the next, whatever comes next, the MonsterVerse, hopefully it's as good. And I reckon the next few films are going to be big. They're going to really do well. Like, this was a major hit. Everyone loved it. No matter what, if you're a fan of the Godzilla, Kong, no matter what, the films, monsters, everyone loved it. Men, women, children. It was a great movie. Now, before I go, I just wanted to say to everyone, check out Cinema Chop Shop with Davey from the 80s. He's got a great channel on YouTube. Justin, we're trying to talk him into doing his own YouTube channel. So hopefully everyone here, and hopefully we can get him better lighting, because a lot of people don't know that he actually is there because we can't really see him. But hopefully he can do his own channel. It won't be as good as mine, obviously, but let's encourage him. Anyway, that's all I have to say for this time. So I'm going to let everyone go. And thanks for you lot to be on and talking about it today. And we'll check you out another time.
All right. Adios. Thanks, Mike.
All right. Take care.
You got to crowd him out. So yeah. Here we go. Trying to end this again.
That should be fun.
Yeah, it always is.
Yeah, Justin dipped out. He's like, I'm out of here. Oh.
Oh my god, it's still going.